What the heck is going on, guys? My name is Bucky Roberts, and in these videos I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make wine. Now, if you watch my videos on how to make beer, then you know that at the very beginning in the first couple of videos, what I did is I basically went over all the equipment and told you guys how to sanitize everything, and it was kind of boring, and it was also kind of overwhelming learning all the equipment at first. So in these winemaking tutorials, I'm going to do things better and also a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be breaking it up into steps. So this first thing we're going to be talking about is called primary fermentation, or pretty much the process to get things started. So I'm going to be going over just the equipment that you need for this, and then at the end of the series I'm going to be talking about all the equipment, where you can buy kits, and so on and so forth. But now I'll shut up, let's get started. Let's look at the equipment that we need to get started. Now the first thing that we need is water. It's important to use good quality drinking water. Now for most of the wine kits you need 6 gallons of water. So I don't know if this is 6, but I got some spare. And if you don't have good quality drinking tap water at your house, then go ahead and buy a big thing of bottled water. You can just go ahead and get it at Walmart, wherever. If you do have good quality drinking water at your house, you can use that, it's fine. But you know, some people have like sulfur in their water, so don't do that if you have sulfur in your water. Now the next thing that you always need is a winemaking kit. Now some people, and I might talk about this in the future, you can actually, and this is probably how you think you make wine, get a bunch of grapes from a vineyard and stomp on them and get all the juice. But I really don't have a vineyard in my backyard, so what you can do is you can actually buy a winemaking kit, and this is how most home winemakers make it. Kind of a tongue twister. But basically this comes with the juice, so you don't have to step on all the grapes. And it also comes with the yeast, and it's called, it's clarifier, and I'll talk to you guys about what clarifier is, but we're going to need the packets that they come with aside from the juice in this first little step. So right now, water and a winemaking kit, easy enough. Now the next thing that you need, these are kind of the supplies. Sanitizer. I won't talk to you guys about sanitizing right now. Basically, whenever you want to sanitize something, just read the directions on your sanitizer. They're all different. This sanitizer called Star San, I got it from Northern Brewer, but I think Amazon.com sells it as well. It is the best sanitizer, so if you're making beer or wine, get that. And aside from that, for the first step, you also need a spoon. Now, winemakers usually use a spoon that looks like this. But you can also use a metal spoon or a wooden spoon. It really doesn't matter. Spoon, you mix things with it, no big deal. Now, another thing that you need is a hydrometer. Now, if you don't know what a hydrometer is, it's basically to measure the density of liquids. Now, why do we want to measure the density of liquids? Well, we do so for a couple of reasons. First of all, whenever we do it in winemaking, it tells us how much alcohol we're going to have in our wine. And I'll talk about more on hydrometers later on, whenever we're actually using them. But 2 other things that you need is, first of all, an airlock. And I'll talk to you guys about why you need this later on. It's for the fermentation process. Speaking of the fermentation process, the last thing, and one of the most important, is a primary fermenter. Now, if you guys have a big glass jug, for example, if you guys make beer, then you can go ahead and use that. But typically in winemaking, people use buckets as their primary fermenter. So go ahead and grab, this is actually a 7.9 gallon bucket. You don't want a 5 gallon bucket because remember, we're making 6 gallons of wine. So if you have a 5 gallon bucket, the wine's going to be filled up to about here. Not going to work. So anyways, get a bucket that's at least 7 gallons. And if you guys are like, where the heck am I going to find a 7 gallon bucket? Well, if you buy a winemaking kit, then they go ahead and ship you all the stuff all in one piece pretty much. So my best advice is to buy a winemaking kit. But if you don't, then at least go online to Amazon or whatever. Probably Northern Brewer has the best ones. And buy a 7 gallon bucket because they're pretty hard to find in like a home improvement store. So now that we went over all the equipment that we need for the first step, let's go ahead and actually start making some wine.